For my artists living in the digital age, something that I'm realizing is you're going to basically absolutely burn yourself out if you're in this mode of trying to fit yourself into the box of being a content creator and then chasing the algorithm. Because truly, you're only going to get compensated for being a content creator for keeping people's eyes on the platform and being able to sell products or really sell other people's ads off your stuff. And that's so apart from the artistry, because the artist needs literally investment in the vision and then support throughout the process to allow that art to come through. Or at least some ridiculously internal ambitious energy to force the project to come through in spite of any of the obstacles happening. But I made this video maybe a couple days ago when I was saying that this world is, or the recession is going to open the door for regular people who are actually cultured and have personality and whatnot to finally participate in the mainstream, when everybody inevitably realizes the mainstream is just bought and sold and traded positions of people at the top, or there's really nothing left in those soulless creatures that we allow to be our celebrities and influence us for the past 5 to 10 years. But to further explain the part of that video where I was saying, if you're an artist, you're going to have to go through this valley of the darkness, in the sense that you're probably going to look delusional, especially the people who don't get it, but you're going to feel delusional how much work and investment you're putting into the void without immediate validation or reciprocation for if that's even right. And so much of that journey forces you to accept that you're going to choose to be who you are in spite of the world telling you. And then when you do get presented an opportunity, now it's easier to discern when the world wants to sway you away from who you want to be and what it takes to get there. So the loneliness and the solitude on this artistic journey is very, very important, fundamentally as a means of just finding your own voice and making sure that you know what the light is that's guiding your path. Now, why is that important? And I'll add on to that light comes from within you. And you'll create that, or you'll seek that and find that through self-discovery and self-acceptance, which is a very, very transformative process. I'd love everyone to go on that, especially as we're all too broke to do things like flash money at each other that we don't have, and flash designer products at each other that we all could have just made print-ons from Walmart ad. But back to the conversation is, if you don't get discouraged in this day and age as an artist, where not only people are becoming more famous and being given more privilege and opportunity for being content creators and masquerading as artists, realize that this only is going to last for so long. Because a lot of these situations only last as long as they can keep selling ads, or as long as people's attention can stay strapped to it. And something in me, again, I'm delusionally optimistic about this, feels like people will hit such a dead end with brain rot, they're genuinely going to be curious enough to seek deeper meaning, deeper, more emotional, more impactful, significant art and expressions of that. So as an artist, the advice that I'm trying to give you is, instead of trying to chase the algorithm and spend all your time trying to make your music TikTok worthy or to make your post Instagram aesthetic, focus on finding out what kind of unique artist you are. What kind of unique voice you bring to the collective, to the concept that is whatever art that you want to participate in. Instead of thinking that you're competing against every other person who wants to be a rapper, who wants to be a painter, who wants to be an architect. Think about it as this is a multi-generational consciousness that we are all, as new human beings, contributing to, using the tools that we have in our immediate moment to participate in building the knowledge and the wisdom that we can either apply to make changes to right now, or we can hand off to the next generation to make new technologies and have new insights to use better than we did. So if you're realizing that, you're going to recognize that a lot of this content creator following the algorithm instead of chasing the art has more to do with our digital psychosis and just validating our existence on these digital platforms and our escape from appreciating artistry and what it takes to invest in artistry. A random quote that just dropped into my head was Daniel X, the CEO of Spotify. He tweeted, "Because it's free to create art, dump." When these content creators either lose the content in their content strategy, or they are chasing the algorithm so heavily, they literally lose their souls or lose themselves and any kind of human resonance in pursuing that, just because a bag is constantly on the other side of chasing the algorithm at the mercy of sacrificing, or at the mercy of developing a consistent brand or actually caring about your audience. There will be a perfect opportunity for artists who have really been sitting and honing in their own craft and honing in their own gifts, their own unique niche nature, and really niche expression. Those people, if we can find out how to connect not only to a community of other human artists to help us with that, but also find out how to use the technology to go from the art first and then breaking it down into different forms of content, of media, rather than constantly seeking what is content first and then trying to make all of our art reflective of the content that is viral or that is successful, rather than making art, and then just waiting for the world to give us an opportunity to express our art on a pace or on a level, on a current that allows us to connect to the community of people that will appreciate it. Because at the end of the day, a traditional consumer, and I think this is where a lot of artists get bogged down in capitalism, a traditional consumer does not appreciate art. It's like asking somebody who grew up in learning fine arts and philosophy and all of this like higher intellectual stuff. It's like sending them to a power slap championship. And they sit there and watch people literally just like concuss each other on stage for chump change, and they're like, what is the fucking what? I can't even appreciate this. So realize it's the artist, and it's a sad thing too, because a lot of like people who end up just becoming like successful content creators get extra opportunities. And I'm not trying to talk shit on any of these people. They might actually be good artists. But like Charlie D'Amelio's sister getting that like getting that record deal, Addison Rae getting like to be a singer, and like kind of just a handful of content creators that got extra opportunity, rather than us continuing to focus on finding those artists who just need support in the face of, or in the form of content creators, and in the form of a marketing team, and in the form of, a community, like subscriber community. I'll finish this video off by saying that the creator economy has to be actually like creator serving and creator centric. If you want a world where anything other than AI slop exists as a means of just propagandizing or diluting the brain cells of all human beings. And hopefully, I also think that the AI slop era that we're going into is a means of making sure that the people are not having complex conversations. You can basically decide who does and who doesn't have access to freedom of speech, or at least publicized freedom of speech. Because, when artists start to feel like shit because society is fucking us, we end up turning that into art that ends up spreading like wildfire, even more than any of these political campaigns or any of these like systems of oppression that these people can create. And the people end up following the artist and trying to tap into their humanity and become something of that, rather than continuing to force themselves into these molds of, I hate myself, so I'm seeking validation outside of myself for the sake of this completion and fulfillment that's never truly going to feel complete. But I'm going to feel so ashamed of really self-acceptance that I'm